Hey guys, Martial Arts Militia here. My name is Matthew. In today's video is going to be the second range report on the Sig Sauer P250. Now you guys will recall seeing this gun in the first P250 range report. I also talked about it again in the Sig Sauer P320. Of course, with those, my observations was that I was wondering if the trigger pull, the excellent trigger pull, is because of the FCU itself or the frame combination itself. And I think I basically came to the conclusion that it was mostly the FCU, but it did very well when it stayed within the compact frame. And so that's why I got the Sig Sauer P320, was to test that hypothesis, to which in my opinion it was true. Basically the long slide combination with this FCU with the compact frame and long slide just gave a really good trigger, regardless if it was its own or the Sig Sauer P320. So with that, I said I would go ahead and buy the Wilson Combat grip frame, which is exactly what this is. This is the Wilson Combat P320 grip frame, but of course I'm using it for the P250. You can see it here, it works just fine, it fits just fine. I bought the grip frame, I also got guide rod for it. It was my mistake, I thought it was polished stainless steel. It wasn't, it's just their version of the stainless steel guide rod. It's probably better than stock SIGs. And then I also got the tungsten extra weight materials. All of the Wilson Combat frames in this line, P320, there's a slot where you can put in additional weights, tungsten weights. So I bought that to make the gun heavier. I like heavy guns. I shot revolvers, that's what I was trained on, so I don't mind heavy guns. So let me go ahead and just show you what that looks like, just because probably don't see that very often, you know what I mean? So take the slide off here. This is that guide rod I was talking about. It's their Wilson Combat's version, so it's probably better in some way. And then let me pop out the FCU here. Pull back the hammer. So within this slot, you'll see there's 3 slots. You can see it right there. Those are the 3 weights that you get with them. The largest one comes out pretty easy. I got to work a little bit for the last skinny one. But there you go. Those are the 3 tungsten weights. So as you saw earlier, it fits into those slots right there. So here would be the largest one, 2 skinnies on the side. Makes the gun a little bit heavier. Now you don't have to use all 3 weights. I do, because I don't really mind. Been shooting heavy revolvers my whole life, so it's not a big deal. I prefer a heavier gun, that's just me. Now, I will say that the Wilson Combat grip frame is a little tight. So when you first try to put this on, it's going to be a little bit challenging. But after you kind of finagle with it a little bit, it does become a lot more reasonable. So I would just say keep working with it if it seems like it's not going to go, because it most likely will. It's just really tight tolerances. So that's what the grip frame looks like. I went to the range. I bought 300 rounds of MagTech FMJ 115 grain. I shot it at 3 yards, and the reason why was because I'm trying to be a gun toter at my job, and for that there's a lot of training involved. But the actual range test, they shoot from 3 to 25 yards, and I've never shot further than the 7 yards for the average mean distance of lethal confrontation. And just to know that the final test is 25 yards, I feel like I should get used to shooting way out there than just 7 yards. I started at 3 because, you know, my target's going to be real tiny, 25 yards. So I need a really big hole. So I just shot maybe 3 magazines, ranging from 15 to 21 rounds. I have 3 15-round magazines, and then 2 15-round magazines, 2 17-round magazines, and 2 21-round magazines. So I went through probably 45 shots at 3 yards, and the hole was getting pretty big, so I pushed it back out to 5. Repeat, made the hole a little bit bigger if it needed to be. Repeat, 7. 10 is about the furthest I went, just because unless it's a really big hole, I'm not seeing what I'm shooting at like 15 yards, you know. So 10 yards was about the longest out there I was shooting it. For the target, I'll show you guys here. I'll give you a close-up here. So basically this is kind of a generic target, and I was gonna buy one, but then the range, they have it to where law enforcement and military shoot for free on Mondays, and I can only get there every other Monday because of my work schedule, and so I didn't have to pay for the range. But then she also said, oh well, we have free targets here. Well, it's not free, but she had extra targets, like just take one. So I didn't have to pay for anything, so that's nice of her. But as you can see, it's just a regular silhouette. So I had one of these colored targets here, you know, they show color when you shoot them. I just stuck it right on there and easy, you know, no problem, I can kind of see it. So as you can see, it's a pretty big hole. Like I said, I started at 3 yards and it was getting pretty okay, lots of bullseyes and stuff like that, and I was like, okay, it's too easy, let me push it back. 5, 7, 10. As you can see, I'm starting to dip a lot here. I think that's mostly because I'm getting tired. I really didn't rest during the 300 rounds. I mean, maybe 20 seconds at most I rest. I just want to get back in there. I probably should have rested since it's free range. I could take as long as I wanted, but you know, I didn't want to take too long. I don't know, it's just me, I guess. But yes, the rounds do begin to dip. I think I'm getting tired. You know, I'm getting tired after shooting the other rounds. You know, and then I'm loading them too. So I'm shooting them out, loading them, shooting them out, loading them again. And then of course you have these really bad ones here on the lower right. And I could kind of tell that those are going to be bad shots. Like as I'm pulling through on the gun, there's like a phase where the trigger is like too smooth near the end, like a slope. And so then when I pull on it, I do like this. Maybe you'll see it in the footage, but it will do like this kind of action. And it wasn't me being tired, although I was probably tired, but it was more like I could tell this is gonna be a bad shot, you know. And of course, I'm figuring out now. Okay, so as a left-hander, if I'm pulling more than I should be, right, then the gun's gonna pull this way. Well, that's where the bullet goes. So if you're right-handed, you've probably seen it yourself when you do it. You probably see shots go this way because you're pulling this way. And again, I don't know. When I started, the shots were really, really good. I think the lady complimented me like those were good shots. But then, you know, after 150, 200, 250, I'm getting tired and things starting to suck. But and of course, that's not a real combat situation. You know, you shouldn't be going through 300 rounds in a combat situation. Probably 6 is the norm. Any more than that's kind of questionable. But yeah, you know, if those were good shots, then yeah, probably the first 100 shots were pretty good. But then I got tired and stuff like that, and so I'm sure things begin to dip and shots are going all over the place. So, but no, other than that, the experience was great. I love this. The trigger pull did not change at all. I think it's, I mean, little to no difference. Maybe 2% worse at best, but really, it's not that much of a difference to make a difference. It's a really good trigger. It didn't change that much. I'm pretty happy with that. Of course, the only thing I would say is that it's really stuck to this format. You know, I don't get this trigger if I switch the slide back to compact. It has to be this sort of long slide configuration. You know, I don't get this with any other combination. It's only this one that comes out with a really good trigger. So that's the only negative, is that it has to be a full-size slide on a compact frame. But you know, we all know it's the grip that usually sticks out more for concealed carry. So you know, a longer slide is not that big of a deal, really. In terms of malfunctions, I know I talked about in the first range report where the gun could not disassemble. Well, being with the gun more often, I'm beginning to realize I don't think the first one was a major malfunction. It was what I said before, when like that guide rod moves out of place and it just screws up the whole gun. All you gotta do is set it back to normal, mess with the guide rod, and it's free. I think that malfunction in the first range report, that's what it was. I don't think it actually had a malfunction. It was just it's, you know, Sig Sauer's quality. 6-hour quality, touchiness type of a thing. It's fine now. If you watch my other videos, you know what I'm talking about, that there's just, every once in a blue moon, it will just lock up on you and you cannot get it to lever to come down no matter what. So other than that, I'm very happy with this gun. I most likely will probably try to find a holster for it and carry it because it's a really good trigger. You know, out of every gun that I own, this is the only one I really like. You know, I know the P250 is my main carry gun along with the Bodyguard, and it's true. There's nothing wrong with these guns. These are great. You know, it's just they can't beat that trigger. None of my guns can beat this trigger. I mean, this is damn good. So yeah, I might look into a holster for that. Other than that, you guys know the usual. I'm gonna roll the range footage for you. Hope you enjoyed the gun about as much as I did. If you have any questions or concerns, you can leave it in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video, okay? Bye now.
You learned martial art!